Alright, I'm starting today's video. You guys saw in the last one I found the exhaust manifold was cracked, and I started pulling off like crank pulley and the timing gear for the crank, things like that. So today I'm going to install the water pump, or actually I'm going to degrease the entire front of the engine first and then install the water pump and get a lot of that going. Show you the ultrasonic, see how that works, cleaning up some of the bolts, and kind of go from there. There's a bunch I need to get done on here, so let's just kind of hop right into it. Now I'm using this seal removal tool that one of my technicians at work gave me to be able to use. And what you do is you hook it back behind the seal and kind of, it's got this little hook on it, and you hook it back behind the seal and then use a slide hammer to get the sucker out. But it's got two sides to it, so I'm going to try the shorter side first and see what happens here. Well, that didn't work. Well, that was interesting. Just a little bit of prying action, it popped right out. Take some degreaser and then degrease the whole front side of this thing while I have everything apart. All nice and clean now. Pretty much all I have to do now, remove this dipstick tube, and I can remove the water pump assembly here, get that attached, get everything back here all cleaned up, and start putting all the seals back in, do valve cover gaskets up there as well, and go from there. So let's get started. See, when I rebuild cars, I don't skimp, or I try not to skimp, I should say, on quality parts. This is a genuine Toyota part, has the Toyota stamp right on there, and that's going to be going on here. Pump off. clean. I like clean hardware. So I'm going to use my ultrasonic here and set this sucker for a little bit of time. I was going through the gaskets that came with the new water pump, and it comes with no ring for there and for the block, which goes in there into this tube here. Now there's three O-rings in there, and I was wondering why there's a third O-ring and this gasket to go with it as well. They also gave you gaskets for this upper coolant housing, basically, and so I'm going to pull this off next, get all the hardware cleaned up, and actually throw this in the ultrasonic with everything else.
We were staying in Paris to get away from your parents, and I thought, wow, if I could take this in a shot right now, I don't think that we could work this out on a terrace. I don't know if it's fair, but I thought, how could I let you fall by yourself? Well, I'm wasted with someone else. If we go down, then we go down together. You're saying you could do anything.
Now that I got this all off, this hardware that came out is all like rusted and disgusting, so hopefully the ultrasonic should clean that up, and this whole housing is just absolutely a nightmare of disgust.
Let's show them we are better. Let's show them we are better. We were staying in Paris. Posting pictures of yourself on the internet, out on the terrace. We're breathing the air.
Well, now, with knowing that my manifold is cracked, I'm going to just pull it off so I can have a flange made, so I can make my own manifold. Now, if any of you guys would be interested in exhaust manifold for these, because I know you can't find OE ones, or if you guys know anybody that has a cracked manifold and wants an aftermarket one, I'm going to try to get with a friend to be able to start making these, because I know there's such an extremely hard market for these that you can't find OE ones that aren't cracked, and welding them is kind of a pain because they just crack more, things like that. But if you guys are interested in one that's just like OE, would bolt up OE and fit exactly the same way, let me know.
Go down, then we go down together. We'll get away with everything. Let's show them we are better. We were staying in Paris. We were staying in Paris. We were staying in Paris.
You guys don't see this, but I've been kind of procrastinating a lot. So I have probably 10 days in this video total, because I'm just kind of procrastinating a lot. But I'm sticking to it, and I'm getting stuff done. So right now I'm fighting with this O-ring. This O-ring is like just ever so slightly too large. So I'm just trying to make sure, because I forced it kind of down in there, that it's perfectly sealed all the way around. All right, now if I'm gonna go through this build properly and put everything back together like it's supposed to, I need torque specs. So I got this Haynes manual that should hopefully be able to give me everything proper. Water pump mounting bolts, looks like we have 15 Newton meters or 11 foot-pounds. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Grab a torque wrench and go from there. Now, because I don't have a small foot-pound torque wrench that can go down that small, I just have one for like wheels and tires, I'm going to be using an inch-pound torque wrench, which the equivalent of 11 foot-pounds in terms of inch-pounds is 135. So we're going to get torque wrench set here. That's 125, 130, 135. The rest are 12s. Go back around. All right, so we were all good there. Now I'm going to assume that because the dipstick tube also mounts to the water pump, that is also 132 inch-pounds or 11 foot-pounds, because there's no data in that Haynes manual of the exact torque spec. So I'm going to send it. It almost feels tight enough, so I'm just going to send it with that. That's probably half of what I need. Alright, I feel like this is a good stopping point for this video. I do have kind of a few days and kind of a lot of content in this. I did get the water pump on, and right now I'm just waiting on a seal installer to see if maybe one of my friends has a seal installer to be able to get the cam seals and the crank seal installed, and then so I can also do the rear main seal as well. Got the engine kind of cleaned up. Everything looks pretty nice. I'm kind of happy with it. Debating on getting the valve covers powder coated as well. But next video you guys will see, I'm going to start on engine bay. I'm going to do the silicone hoses, get the shifter cables ready for these solid kind of roller skate bearing type things. I also have this shifter square that goes on the transmission, which I will show you guys how to install that. I also am going to be pulling out the interior so I can get this bit installed. So I have solid shifter base bushings, and this, which is a 93 Toyota MR2 shifter. And they say it's a really good upgrade for the shifter. It sits a bit lower, feels a lot nicer, and that's what you guys are going to see in the next video here. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, subscribe, and share. Follow along with the build, with everything I have going on. You guys are going to see a bunch of stuff coming out for this. So just remember, don't quit on a body that won't quit.